No matter how old you are, 50, 60, or 70, there is one thing that will always remain relevant. Either money works for you, or you work for money. Financial freedom is not a privilege for the young or the chosen. It is a skill, it is a strategy, it is discipline, and most importantly, it is a decision. In this video, I will share with you 7 proven strategies that not only brought me peace in turbulent times, but also gave me real power over my life. Strategies that work regardless of how old you are or where you're starting from. And you know what? The best part comes at the end. Together, we'll develop a personal, practical financial plan for you for the week. It doesn't matter how much you earn. What matters is what you do with it. I remember my first meeting with Earl Schaff, my mentor. He looked at my financial situation and asked, "Jim, have you ever saved even 10 cents from every dollar?" I answered, "No, Earl, I haven't." And he just smiled and said, "That's where we'll start." That was the first principle. Learn to manage even a little if you want to have more. Remember, money is a servant, but a very dangerous master. Learn to manage it, and it will serve you for life. Otherwise, you'll serve it, day by day, paycheck by paycheck. And that's not the life for you. Let's start with the first strategy my mentor once explained to me. Learn to live on 70% of your income, not 100, and definitely not 110 like most people do. Financial management is a matter of self-discipline, not math. And when you start keeping 70% for yourself and dividing the rest between education, investments, and charity, not only does order come into your life, self-respect does too. You no longer spend every dollar as if it's your last. You begin to think like a builder, not a consumer. You lay a foundation. So 70% for living, 10% for investing in yourself, books, courses, knowledge, 10% for capital that works for you, and another 10% for charity, because once you learn to give, you open a channel to receive.
It's not what you earn, it's what you do with what you earn. Rohn advocated for financial discipline. Living on 70% forces you to be intentional. The remaining 30% should be divided. 10% for giving, charity, or causes that matter to you, 10% for active investing, growing wealth, and 10% for savings. This simple principle of allocation helps build wealth while maintaining generosity.
The second strategy, save and grow. Don't just stash money under a mattress. Grow it. Money needs to work. If it's not working, it's not money, it's just paper. And I've always said it doesn't matter how much you save. What matters is how disciplined you are about it. Because discipline is the bridge between goals and results.
Profits are better than wages. Wages make you a living, but profits make you a fortune. Saving is the first step, but if your money just sits idle, inflation and time eat its value. Rohn emphasized learning how to make your money work for you through investing, creating side incomes, or building businesses. Wealth comes from what your money does while you sleep.
And the third strategy, study money like your life depends on it, because it does. In school, they didn't teach us what compound interest is. They didn't teach us that a credit card is not money. They didn't teach us that the greatest enemy of financial freedom is not lack of money, it's lack of knowledge. But you can learn at any age. As my mentor used to say, one of the worst conditions is not poverty, it's financial helplessness. That's where the power lies. You can take responsibility for your financial state right now. You can learn, you can change, and when you change, everything around you changes. Your decisions become sharper, your spending wiser, your opportunities greater. Why? Because you no longer react, you lead.
Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. He believed financial literacy was critical. Most people spend more time planning vacations than learning about money. Understand how money flows, how taxes work, how to grow wealth, and how to protect it. Your future, and the freedom to live on your terms, depends on mastering this subject.
The fourth strategy, and this one is a game changer, is to plan your money before it leaves you. It begins with a notebook, a pen, and a habit. Before a new month began, I would sit down and write, here's what's coming in, here's where it's going, and here's what I'm investing. It was my way of telling money, I'm in charge now. You may ask, what if the income is unstable? The answer is simple. Plan even for the unstable. Because as I always said, a bad plan is better than no plan.
You must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstances, but you can change yourself. Without a plan, your money disappears through impulse purchases and untracked expenses. Budgeting is not about restriction, but about intention. If you don't tell your money where to go, it will leave you, without anything to show for it. Rohn taught that discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment.
The fifth strategy, and one of my favorites, is to create assets, not just save money. Because money by itself doesn't give freedom. It must be turned into something that works without you. My whole life I've said, don't work just for money, make money work for you. And here's the big trap. Many think, well, I'm not an investor. I don't have enough to buy or invest in anything. But an asset isn't always about stocks or real estate. An asset is anything that brings you income or value over time. Skills can be an asset, a small business, an asset. Even a well-written book that's read for years and it is an asset. I started with buying books and turning them into knowledge, knowledge into ideas, and ideas into products. Then I learned to invest in teaching others. Teaching created workshops, workshops created income, income became capital, and again into assets. That's the cycle of power. You can start simple, one step, and you're in the game. Rich people look for opportunities. Poor people look for excuses. And I know that may sound harsh, but it's the truth. While someone says, I'm too old to start a new business, another opens an online store from home. While one puts $50 in an envelope, another invests it in a book that changes their mindset and earns thousands. The difference isn't in age. The difference is in mindset. And one more thing, don't be afraid to lose. Many people fear investing because there's risk. But remember, the biggest risk is doing nothing.
Create assets. Don't just save money, because money itself doesn't give freedom. Jim Rohn's philosophy. Wealth is the ability to convert income into assets. An asset is anything that makes money without your constant effort. Rohn stressed that you don't want to work forever. Assets, whether they're real estate, businesses, intellectual property, or investments, buy back your time. Saving is a start, but real freedom comes from owning things that work even when you don't.
The sixth strategy, and it transforms not just your money, but your relationship with yourself, is keeping personal financial records. Let me tell you plainly, if you don't track your finances, you're not in control of your life. Period.
Success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is the natural consequence of consistently applying basic fundamentals. Tracking finances is fundamental. You can't improve what you don't measure. Keeping financial records helps you understand your habits, see opportunities for growth, and avoid waste. Rohn saw record keeping as a sign of maturity and responsibility, key traits in building a successful life.
The final seventh strategy, the deepest one, is to think in terms of legacy. Instead of asking how much will I earn, ask yourself a different question. What will I leave behind? Financial well-being isn't just about a comfortable retirement. It's about the mark you leave. What kind of money culture are you passing on to your children? What spending philosophy do your grandchildren see in you? What saving, investing, and responsibility habits will they inherit or not? And that legacy will last longer than any check. I remember a story. An older man, a farmer. He didn't have a large estate, but he had records, journals, decades worth. He tracked harvests, expenses, profits. And when his children saw this, they saw a system. They saw that their father wasn't just a laborer, but a thinker, a planner, an entrepreneur. And that legacy changed their lives.
The greatest gift you can give to someone is your own personal development. A true legacy is more than money. It's the mindset, habits, and principles you pass down. Rohn encouraged thinking beyond yourself. Wealth without wisdom disappears in one generation. By building a culture of financial literacy and responsibility, you equip your children and their children for true freedom.
Think big, not just, how do I get through this month? And every day is a chance to lay down another solid brick. So be bold, be consistent, be someone who doesn't just survive in the world of money, but leads it with dignity, intelligence, and inspiration. And I'll see you in the next video. We have more work ahead, and even more victories to come.